For years, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the BJP looked almost unbeatable in Indian politics. Election after election, they kept growing stronger. Critics complained about corruption, pressure on the media, unemployment, and rising frustration among young people. But nothing seemed powerful enough to challenge the system. But suddenly, something unexpected happened. Not a political revolution, not a massive opposition party. A cockroach. What started as an online joke has now become one of the fastest growing political satire movements in India. Millions of young people are proudly calling themselves cockroaches to protest unemployment, corruption, censorship, and a political system they feel no longer listens to them. And now, many people are asking, could this become something much bigger than satire? This is question why, and today we ask why PM Modi should be scared of cockroaches. At first, the Cockroach Janata party looked like just another internet meme. But the reason it exploded so quickly is because it touched a real nerve inside India's younger generation. The movement started after India's Chief Justice Surya Kant made controversial comments during a court hearing, where unemployed young people were compared to cockroaches and parasites. Even though he later clarified his statement, the damage was already done. Millions of young Indians felt insulted, and that anger was already building for years. India has one of the world's youngest population. Around 65% of Indians are under the age of 35. Every year, millions of graduates enter the job market, but many struggle to find stable jobs, especially in cities. According to the report from Azim Premji University, unemployment among young graduates in India is close to 40% for the people under 25. At the same time, many young Indians feel disconnected from politics. They believe political parties talk more about nationalism and image building than real everyday problems like jobs, education, rising prices, or corruption. Then came another major pressure point: the global economic shock created by the Iran war. India depends heavily on Middle Eastern oil. Rising fuel prices, pressure on the rupee, and growing economic uncertainty started affecting ordinary people directly. And many young people started asking, if India is becoming a global superpower, why does life feel so difficult? That frustration created the perfect environment for a movement like this to grow. So why this movement becoming so important? Because the Cockroach Janata Party is not really about cockroaches. It is about political frustration finally finding a symbol. The movement was created by Abhijit Dipke, an Indian student studying in the United States. What began as a funny social media post quickly exploded across India. Within days, the movement gained millions of followers online, even surpassing the BJP's Instagram following. That alone shocked many political observers. But what made the movement powerful was not just the joke. It was what the joke represented. Young people began using the cockroach symbol proudly. Something meant as an insult was transformed into a protest identity. The message was simple: you ignore us, you insult us, but you cannot get rid of the cockroaches. The government's reaction made the movement even bigger. Social media accounts were reportedly restricted. The movement's website was allegedly taken down. Dipke claimed he received death threats. Supporters accused authorities of trying to silence criticism. Suddenly, a meme stopped looking like just a meme. It started looking like evidence of growing fear inside the political system itself. And this is where the real danger for Modi's government begins. Because India's younger generation is no longer only complaining privately. Now they are organizing publicly, using humor, using satire, using social media posts. And history has already shown across South Asia that youth frustration can become politically explosive. Nepal, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka all witnessed youth-led political anger shaking governments in recent years. Although India is much bigger and more complex, the emotional frustration among young voters is becoming harder to ignore, especially when many institutions like media, courts, and opposition parties are increasingly seen by critics as too weak to challenge power effectively. That is why even a satire movement is suddenly creating international headlines. Right now, the Cockroach Janata Party is still mostly an online protest movement. But the real concern for the government is what it represents for the future. Because younger voters are becoming one of the most powerful political forces in India. And unlike older generations, many Gen Z voters are deeply connected through social media, internet culture, and digital activism. They organize faster, spread messages faster, and challenge political narratives faster than traditional political systems can control. If frustration like this among young generation continues growing, then movements like this could evolve from satire into something much more serious. Not necessarily a revolution, but a new political culture. And that could become dangerous for long-established political systems, especially for a government that built its image around strength, stability, and total control of the narrative. Because the biggest threat to powerful governments is often not opposition parties. Sometimes it is public frustration reaching a point where people stop being afraid to love. And once political fear disappears, political change becomes much easier. That is why this cockroach movement matters far beyond internet jokes. It reflects a deeper question growing inside India. Is the younger generation still believing in the current political system, or are they beginning to search for something completely different? The Cockroach Janata Party may have started as a satire, but satire often becomes powerful when it reflects real anger. Behind the memes, jokes, and viral posts, there is a serious reality. Millions of young Indians are frustrated about jobs, opportunity, political representation, and their future. And now that frustration has found a symbol that is impossible to ignore. The real question is not whether cockroaches can defeat a government. The real question is whether India's younger generation is beginning to lose trust in the political system itself. And if that happens, India's political future could look very different in the coming years. Could a joke movement become the beginning of a larger political shift in India? What do you think? Let us know in the comment below. This is Question Why. Until next time.